What started as anecdotal horror stories has turned into widespread panic amongst watch collectors. Watch robberies have really exploded, and so let's get into how you can ultimately protect yourself and what are the steps that you should take if something does occur. Over the last 5 years, we've witnessed an explosion in popularity and ultimately in price of the watch market. We've never seen auction prices and secondary market prices achieve the prices that they have over the last few years, and really the watch market itself has become an economy and a beast of its own. And so unfortunately it has become the target of people who are seeking to take advantage of unsuspecting people, and at the end of the day it is an absolutely horrible situation. Just to shed some light on the issue, the Metropolitan Police reported that in 2020, the approximate watch robberies were about in the 600 range, whereas now in 2022, they are estimated to be upwards of 5,200 robberies. That is just an asinine increase, and it isn't only in London. Take Paris, for example, which has witnessed an increase of 31% since the beginning of the year in just watch robberies alone. And again, this isn't only centralized to Europe itself, it's happening all over the world, with robberies every single year occurring in the 1,500 to 2,500 range, and has even been picked up by mainstream news. And so with the amount of watch robberies occurring, it is a really important issue and one you should be fearful of and take the necessary steps to protect yourself in the event that it does happen, but also to mitigate any possibility for it to occur. So 3 of the most popular brands on the market today, Rolex, Audemars Piguet, and Richard Mille, are the 3 most popular and targeted watches for watch robberies, simply because these are some of the most recognizable watches and just easy targets for people to spot. And so I would definitely recommend just being fearful of where you're wearing these watches and just to make sure that your attention is aware at all times of your surroundings. Now, the second way I'd recommend you protect yourself is by documenting what you have, namely the reference number, the serial numbers, and the contents of the actual watches that you own will help you to not only keep track of what you have, but also allow you to make sure that you remain organized, and in the event anything may happen, you're well prepared and have all the evidence necessary to submit over. Another precaution I take to go even a step further is to store my box and papers and my watches in separate locations. This is simply to mitigate the risk that in the event a horror were to happen and I were to be taken of my watch, at the end of the day, my watch and my box and papers are completely separated and I have nothing to fear for in that regard because I have at least some evidence that I have ownership over this watch. Additionally, using things like high security safes or bank safes, which is mostly what I use, is really fundamental to making sure that your watches and the contents of your watches are safe from perpetrators. At the end of the day, you cannot take this security lightly. There are too many stories out there, and it has become all too common an occurrence for you not to be taking the necessary precautions and the necessary security measures to ensure that your watches are rightfully protected and taken care of. Another area to consider is watch insurance. Again, just as an added layer of protection in the event that a horror story were to happen to you. Now, watch insurance can be a little bit difficult to navigate, and so we've actually partnered with Wax Insurance essentially to help watch collectors become a one-stop shop, be it in the buy-sell trade side or in the protecting and the preservation of their own watches. Now, Wax has become a great partner of ours and makes it really easy for watch collectors and our clients, namely, to essentially get their watches secured and insured in a quick and easy and effective manner. The great thing about watch insurance also is that a lot of the time this will cost up to or less than 1% of your watch collection overall, which I think is really an expense that shouldn't be spared. At the end of the day, these are precious items that are expensive and irreplaceable. The connection that we make with watches just can't be understated, right? Each watch may have thousands of other examples out there, but they're not your watch. And so having the necessary protection where you can sleep good at night and know that your watches are safe and secure in the event of a disaster happening is extremely important. And so if watch insurance would be of interest to you, I would definitely hit the link down below to learn a little bit more about Wax Insurance and just get to know what is their philosophy, how they protect your watches, and how you will be better insured in the event that a disaster does happen to you. At the end of the day, we cannot take this situation lightly, and you need to take every precaution necessary. And again, at the cost associated of watch insurance, I definitely feel it is worth it. So now we've gone over all the steps that you can take to ensure that your watches are protected, taken care of, and looked after. But what about if a robbery actually occurs? What are the steps that you should take? Well, the first one would obviously be to contact the police. Listen, there is no other way around it. You will have to contact the authorities and report to the police that your watch was stolen. Now, of course, this absolutely sucks and is a total gut punch, but it is necessary, especially for the second step, which would be to contact your insurance company right away after the police report has been filed. At the end of the day, you want to get that process started as soon as possible because it is a pretty lengthy process at that, and so getting just payment will take time, and you want to get it started as soon as possible. The point of these first two steps is just to get the ball rolling right away to, first of all, hopefully be able to recover your watches as soon as possible, but in the event that this situation may get dragged out over months or potentially even years, that you get the ball rolling right away and are paid out as soon as possible by the insurance company. Next, I definitely recommend you call local jewelers, pawn shops, or pre-owned authorized dealers that are selling watches, because these would be the first places that robbers would ultimately contact to sell these watches to. So having these guys be aware of your situation and be aware of the serial numbers of your watch and the markings of it would potentially help in the event that those watches are turned into these places, as they are pretty commonly sold in these outlets. I'd also post to social media and forums, namely on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, even potentially on online forums like the Rolex forums, Omega forums, and so on, so that people are aware of your situation and are looking out in the event that they do come across your watch. Having all of these outlets be aware of your situation will inevitably help you potentially recover your watch, but it will also allow you to have your story out there and potentially get your watch back in the event someone does come across it. So guys, watch robberies are definitely happening, but there are a number of steps I've laid out today to ensure that you be proactive and hopefully prevent any sort of robbery from happening. But I've also outlined some of the steps you can take in the event that a robbery does happen to hopefully get your watches back rightfully and as soon as possible. Guys, please be sure to like the video and subscribe for more videos in the future, and let me know down in the comments what videos you'd like to see from us on the Luxury Bazaar YouTube channel. My name is Marco, and guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.